Up here, the mayor's visit. And I don't know that I've actually pulled this up for y'all, but I'm thinking that there are a series of multiple choice questions that could come from the mayor's, our visit with the mayor. And you notice, of course, Bridget Newton is the mayor. She's got some statistics in here. There are some things in here that actually deal with how the elections run in Rockville. We get into this difference between open and closed primaries. Some things with the police down here. She mentions pops with cops that could be cops going to Starbucks or popsicles or lollipops or things like that. I don't know if you'll remember when she had discussed that a little bit. Some of the things that she had mentioned, and one that I hate to admit it, but Yasher did suggest a citizen commission for police oversight, which she really seemed to like. She paused on that one, and I did catch that. Of course, she unpaused when he brought the citation. You'll notice up here, sanctuary protocol, dealing with undocumented immigrants. And you notice up here, basically what she said is that Rockville is not officially sanctuary, but they act as a sanctuary. Go ahead, you want to say something?
Yeah, no, I heard, I think it was this morning on the WTOP that in Rockville, I don't know if they're going to overrule that or not.
Well, I can't test on what they might do, so let's stick with what the mayor said at this point. And you notice up here, she's basically saying, and she's not saying that, she's basically saying, we're going to act as a sanctuary city because we don't want to lose our federal funds, but we're not going to officially declare. So when I said the mayor doesn't always talk about money, this is what I mean, because it does come up. Go ahead.
How does she act like one, but like still doesn't, if she refuses to enforce the immigration laws?
I'm sorry, say again?
Like, how does she act like one, but isn't officially one? What does that mean?
Well, like, basically what she was saying, like, police officers are not going to ask you for certain paperwork to demonstrate things, so they're still going to enforce law, traffic, citation, whatever the case might be, but they're not going to delve into that. And that's what the things that she was talking about. She spent a lot of time talking about this whole idea of the police officers. You'll notice up here, Dina, for some reason, pointed out she was not old enough to vote in the last election. I'm sure it's going to be on there somewhere. You notice a couple of other things. Rockvillians don't vote. I did think it was interesting, and we were talking about this. One of the terms in the second chapter, I think it was lower vote turnout. And to me, it actually kind of makes sense that you would want to put the mayor election with a presidential election, because if more people are going to vote for president, then by necessity, more people would be there to vote for mayor. Well, she said no, and she said, in fact, that you would get lost, and I think her words were people would get tired of voting by the time they got down to the mayor election, so they wouldn't vote. That's something that's maybe a little bit debatable. The guns piece, and she did, we talked to her about Bloomberg, and she said that she would be a Bloomberg person, if you remember. And of course, that got Shannon and Aaron and several of the other folks. Raising the minimum wage. I thought this was interesting, and I don't know that we talked about this a whole lot, but she said she did believe that the minimum wage should be $15 an hour, but she did not necessarily support paying high school kids $15 an hour, which I thought was really interesting, because that's discrimination if you're going to pay one and not the other that minimum wage. But I think her logic was that if you're an adult, then you need $15 an hour to live off of, but you may not need $15 an hour as a high school kid, and maybe that's someplace to save money. I have no idea how that would work, but that's what she was saying. Yasher did receive a citation the night before. I'm not even going to get into that. Having less than 1 gram of a controlled substance. And you'll notice up here, some of this was probably just a little bit mentioned. Who was it that brought up 5 calls? 5calls.org? Was it you?
No, it was the other guy. I don't know his name though. There was some guy.
Somebody brought up 5calls.org, and she says in here, and I'm going to come back to this when we start talking about county council, sharing personal experience, maybe referring back to some specific training or some insight that you have into a specific issue, not just boilerplate calls or boilerplate emails, things of that sort. And then she did mention this whole idea of the 3 minutes. So you notice up here that this is basically, it's not even a page. But I would venture to say that I can probably pull a series of multiple choice questions out of there. And the State Department stuff, I don't want to punish people that didn't go. There is some interesting stuff in here, although it's not necessarily dealing with state and local government. Read over it. I'll probably pull a couple of things from there. So again, people went, they'll be rewarded. People should be able to pull some things out of that. But I'm thinking maybe 30 multiple choices. So maybe 10 to 15 from the articles. I'm thinking maybe 10 to 15 from the terms, maybe a few more from the terms if you include the mayor stuff. And then I'm thinking 55 or 60 points of short answers, and you would need to answer about 35 points of them. So we'll be taking it step by step. I'll go ahead and post these terms when I get back to the office, and I'll go ahead and upload this and post the links before I go today. Do y'all have, Jessica, do you have any questions? Jessica's just like, I need to go home. Yeah. Alex, any questions? No? Michael, go
Would
ahead.
the questions about the trips, would those be solely about the trip, or would you just like incorporate it back to what we were taught?
With the mayor's thing, any of the attachments, I mean, the notes are pretty self-explanatory. So what I'd probably pull would be facts from that. And, you know, the mayor said what? Rockville is like number 10 for female business entrepreneurs, the city, something, yeah. So, I mean, those are specific numbers, or, you know, what she wants to do about the police force, that's gonna be harder to turn into a question. You get the idea, but these would be multiple choices. These would be multiple choices, yeah. Jacqueline Smith, anything?
Nope.
Edgar? No? Josh?
No.
Okay. All right, if y'all have no more questions, Jacqueline Smith, if you'll cut it.